Credit card debt is often an issue in the months following the holidays. Our next guest has some ideas on how to adopt good money habits to reduce those money concerns. We welcome Rachel Caballero to Arizona Horizon. She's with True West Credit Union. Welcome. Good to have you here.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
I read that 35% of folks have holiday debt looming. That sound about right to you?
That is correct. LendingTree started doing a research study back in 2015, and actually last year was the highest number of holiday debt accrued since they started that study.
I was going to say, are things going like this? Is more debt over the years happening? What's going on out there?
It is, but in part due to, an impeding recession, you would think that the holiday spending is going down. But with the increase in prices everywhere and the supply chain issues that are happening, things like that, it's harder to get your hands on stuff, and so people are actually willing to spend a little bit more to get their hands on the things that they want for people for the holidays.
So inflation and high interest rates, who cares? I want this, I'm going to get this, and you're going to pay for it one way or the other.
Yep.
I got average holiday, that was about $1,500 per person. That sound a little high to you? That sounds high to me.
It does sound high, but without the education, tools, and resources to be able to kind of overcome that, it's hard to step back from it and understand where that spending is going and how to adapt the habits to stop that from happening going forward.
So give us some good habits here to avoid this, or at least to help pay down what seems to be a looming debt for individuals.
So I think one of the interesting things is that people go through these journeys in life, right? So a journey of fitness, to get physically fit or to lose weight or things like that, but people don't think of that in a financial sense. And I don't know if it's just the invisibility factor where you don't see it, so it's not as at the tip of our tongues, or if it's because we lack the education. But in order to come back from things like that, we need to kind of be in that mindset of the journey where we understand that there are triggers that happen that have us spending the money. And being able to identify those triggers and then have things to overcome those triggers should they happen will help us kind of scale back in the spending so that we don't have that overspending happening as much.
And I would imagine, as far as debt is concerned, if pay down a portion, you don't have to pay down everything at one fell swoop. It's as you mentioned, be patient. Got to know that things happen over time, correct?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a process. So understanding that you have this problem, identifying the triggers, and then being able to kind of work it into your budget to pay little by little to bring it back is going to help a lot. Also, people that have the overspending problem, a lot of times you'll go to somebody's house and they'll still have clothes in the closet that have the tags on. So it could be just as easy as revisiting their spending over the last 30 days and seeing what they can return, what they don't really need, or if they upgraded something that didn't necessarily need an upgrade, maybe they can sell it on Facebook Marketplace to bring that money back to put toward their debt to make it a little bit easier of a burden as they're going into paying it off.
Does starting an emergency fund, something like that, does that make sense?
It does, absolutely. So financial recommendation is 3 to 6 months of living expenses. That's obviously going to differ. Everybody's budget is different. Everybody's financial situation is different. So you'll want to go through, do you have dependents? Are you a one-person income household? Things like that. But 3 to 6 months to be able to come up with that. But just keep in mind, that's not to go towards your paying off debt. That's not going towards buying the holiday stuff or spending what you want. That money should really be there as a buffer so that if you get in a situation, you're not having to increase the debt even more to be able to pay that off.
So are the triggers, you mentioned that a couple of times, is that what you see and hear most often?
Absolutely. So it's kind of the same as the other journeys of, say, stress eating. People get stressed, and retail therapy is a huge thing. So they're going out and they're shopping to make themselves feel better.
Yeah.
Or, if they've always had this stigma of being the best gift giver, they don't want to give that up, even if something in their household or situation has changed. And so there are a lot of things that go into it that are these real triggers that they have to identify to overcome.
Yeah, and I would imagine in this day and age of online shopping, it's just as easy as a click, and then you get all excited waiting for the truck to show up and leave a box off at your front door.
And there's always a sale. Every day there's a sale on something, but if you don't need it, is it really a sale? If you don't need it, you're just spending extra money that you didn't need to spend.
So, bottom line here, the most important thing for viewers to know, if they're a little bit worried about what their credit card balance is.
The biggest thing for them to know is just to start small. Every dollar that you don't put towards debt is essentially saving. So as you start paying off that debt, you're going to be able to save a little bit more. And it's okay if you can't throw huge numbers at it right up front, but creating that habit and getting in that mindset of making your debt come down so that your savings can go up can go a long way.
Good information. Rachel Caballero, True West Credit Union. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you very much.